Well, good morning. My name is Ray Alieri. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Comcast Western New England region, which is headquartered right here in Connecticut. I'd like to welcome you here today for the kickoff of C-SPAN's Week of Hartford, along with our special guest, the Honorable Mayor Pedro Segarra, the Honorable Mayor-elect Luke Bronin, Cindy Lovell, the Executive Director of the Mark Twain House, and Debbie Lamb, coordinating producer of C-SPAN Cities Tour. Comcast and the city have had a strong, long, and positive relationship in serving residents of Hartford through activities such as Comcast Cares Day and programs to bridge the digital divide, such as Internet Essentials. And we look forward to continue that partnership with the new administration. C-SPAN is here to record and feature the city's history and literary life, and it's a great opportunity to promote the city and all the rich history it has to offer. They're always a great partner to us, collaborating to identify key locations when they're in town, whether their election bus is passing through or they're in the area recognizing a young documentary student cam winner, or here this week, taping footage for our Hartford-focused weekend of programming in January. Comcast partners with a wide range of established national and community organizations, leveraging their local expertise to deliver maximum impact to our local communities. Here in the greater Hartford area, we've been honored to collaborate with and support organizations including the Urban League of Greater Hartford, of which I'm a board member, Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters, Hartford Boys and Girls Club, CRIS Radio, Achieve Hartford, and many more. We're also extremely proud of the products and services that we offer our customers in Connecticut, including our X1 entertainment operating system, which has really changed the entertainment experience for our customers and includes innovative features such as the talking guide, multiple applications, and advanced DVR features. And Xfinity Home, which provides next-generation home security, control, and energy management features that allow our customers to stay connected via their mobile devices. And in August, we announced that we now offer more than 11,000 Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots throughout the state that offer free internet access and are located in high-traffic outdoor locations like shopping destinations, parks, and vibrant areas. So with that, I'd like to invite Deborah Lamb, coordinating producer, C-SPAN Cities Tour, to speak about the week ahead. Debbie?
That might be the most appreciation I get in my entire lifetime. Thank you all very much for coming out here today. I know you're all very busy, but we are very excited to be here in Hartford. We arrived Saturday night, and I just want to take a moment to introduce my team members. Ben Sorensen in the back, who in the blue shirt, who will be producing our history programs while we're here in Hartford, and Johnny St. Jean over there, who will be producing our book TV segments. C-SPAN was created in 1979 by the cable television industry as a public service. What does that mean? That means we don't receive any taxpayer dollars. We are not funded by the government. We show events in their entirety. We show a variety of points of view. We don't have commercials, and there's no editorializing on our part. And the goal was to bring you direct access to your government officials. The cable industry felt this was an important venture and has continued to keep us on their channel lineup as we've grown with now C-SPAN 2 and C-SPAN 3. It should be noted that even though no one has control over our editorial decisions. So Comcast gets a small, or they pay us a small subscriber fee for 3 networks at 6 cents. So I don't think that's going to cover your paychecks, I'm pretty sure. So the important part is that it's its own nonprofit company generating its own programming based on a mission. Why are we here? Well, as I mentioned, C-SPAN 2 and C-SPAN 3. C-SPAN started out with the House of Representatives, live gavel to gavel whenever they're in session. C-SPAN 2 is the Senate, in addition to all this other public affairs programming that we do in order to balance out what you see, what's happening in your federal government. On the weekends, though, we have the luxury knowing that the House and Senate aren't going to be in, or other. We can utilize the weekends to show you 48 hours of nonfiction book-related programming on C-SPAN 2's Book TV. And then on C-SPAN 3, it's 48 hours of American history TV programming. And what we've decided to do was, the goal with this tour, which we started in 2011, was to get out of Washington, D.C., and go into these selected cities to feature those cities, some of the cities, you can't get to everything in the city, unique and rich heritage to air on C-SPAN 3's American History TV, and some of its nonfiction literary life, which includes interviewing nonfiction authors, looking at special collections, you know, coming to the Mark Twain Center or Harriet Beecher Stowe Center, and for air on C-SPAN 2's Book TV. So everything we produce while we're in the city will air on a special Hartford weekend in January. But first of all, before I move any further on that and tell you some of the stories we're going to be covering, I just want to give a special thanks to Ray and Rob Early. Where are you, Rob? There he is. I was like, I knew you were up here. Where did you go? And John Barrios up there, and Karen, where are you? Oh, there he is, over there. And Jessica and the entire Dan Glanville, entire Comcast team for their support and partnership with this. They are the ones that have connected us with the city and given us suggestions through the city, but ultimately we made the decision on what we decided to do, and that's why this whole partnership works, so that we work together in order to continue to build strong relationships in the community, and that's very important, and it's something we've enjoyed a long business partnership with Comcast because of. Mayor Segarra, thank you so much for having us, and now new Mayor-elect Luke Bronin. We appreciate it, and most importantly here, Cindy and her team, who have been generous to host us here at the Mark Twain Center. And without further ado, we will be here this afternoon at the Mark Twain House for air on C-SPAN 3's American History TV, and we'll take a look. We'll go through the house. I think Cindy's going to do the interview. We'll visit some of the key rooms, the library, the billiard room, and learn a little bit more about Mark Twain's life here. There's a lot of things in Hartford that regarding especially the literary life. You know, why did these individuals choose Hartford? Why do they live here? In addition, then we'll look at some of Mark Twain, the special collections that the center has to offer, and that would air on C-SPAN 2's Book TV. Now, some of these may air on both networks because they do apply to both history and the nonfiction literary life. And so we also are going to the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center. So Catherine Kane is here. There you are. There you are. I gotcha. And we can't thank her enough. So we're going to do two pieces there as well for history, looking at the house. Actually, this will be Book TV, and going through Harriet Beecher Stowe's life as she lived here in 1873 through 1896. I hope I'm right about that. Okay. And then also look at some of those special collections that they host there as well. In addition, we're going to go to the Hartford Public Library, the History Center, and Chandler Saint, who is here, will talk to us a lot about the Venture Smith, who the unique exhibit that was put together, and his research that he's done on this individual who wrote a narrative about his life coming from Africa and then his enslavement and then eventually being a businessman and earning a fortune as an African American. So that'll be interesting, but the library there has been wonderful in working with us. In addition, Ben will go and talk with the folks about the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch there. What a beautiful, Ben got a picture of it yesterday. What a beautiful place. And looking around in Bushnell Park, we got a lot of video of that as well. So that'll tell us a little bit of those stories. And just note, when we're at these places, it's not just about particularly that entity, but it's those historical stories that go along with it as well, that incorporate some of Hartford's unique history that all kind of correlates together. And then we'll go to the Connecticut Historical Society Museum. I have to tell you this, there's a lot of great facilities here, but they have a lot of long names. That's why I'm looking at my notes, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to mess this up. But anyway, we're going to go behind. There's an exhibit that's going to be launched November 21st there, but we're going to get a sneak peek into the storage area of how some of the items with the Connecticut and Revolutionary War. So we're going to look at some of, like Nathan Hale's diary, the Continental Army records, you know, so some things that, you know, our viewers, we want to take them somewhere. We want them to learn something about this city that they might not know anything about, and it really enhances our programming. Okay, so, and then we'll also get a little brief tour of the Capitol, but we'll also do the old State House, where we'll take a look at the Hartford Convention as well as the Amistad trial. So a lot of unique history that we're going to cover here. For books, as I mentioned, the Mark Twain collection, as well as the Harriet Beecher Stowe House and Special Collections. We'll interview author Scott Gack. This was unique, the Singing for Freedom, the Hutchinson Family Singers. Has anyone ever heard of them? But their songs are written in correlation to how they communicate about, say, abolitionist or social, political issues. So then we'll go to, well, Olivia and Frank, where are you both? Okay, there's Olivia and Frank. Can't thank you both enough. We're going to go to the Amistad Center and look at a unique exhibit that Frank's going to talk to us about. And it's titled, it has a long title, but I thought it was important to read. This is my story. This is my song, The Writers, Musicians, and the Black Freedom Struggle. So looking at African-American writers and their communications, the enslaved individuals who, you know, interpreting works like Frederick Douglass and etc. So, and then we also will interview author Anne Farrow. Has anybody heard of her? Okay, well, she wrote a book, The Logbooks, Connecticut Slave Ships and Human Memory. So that is a lot. Like I said, we hope that we got a nice spray, and that's the best we can do, of the city, and that just means we get to come back. So I want to thank you all very much. I didn't mean to take that long. Again, this should air January 16th and 17th. It's the third weekend of the month, so if I messed up that. But also everything we've done will be produced and air online as well. So sprinkled throughout the weekend, and also have a special block which will get you that information. But Hartford will have its own special place on the C-SPAN video library. So thank you all very much for coming out. If I've missed someone, I'm sorry, but thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Exciting stuff. So we're looking forward to that. It's my privilege now to introduce my coworker and our Vice President of Government and Regulatory Affairs, Rob Early.
I wish I had a white suit for this occasion. I'm Rob Early. I'm the Vice President of Government Relations for Comcast, and we are just thrilled today to have both the Mayor of Hartford, Pedro Segarra, and Mayor-elect Luke Bronin. It's like having Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn at the same event. And we're going to have them both up here to share with us their views about Hartford being showcased in a special way this week. But before we do that, on behalf of Comcast, I'd like to offer a belated but sincere thank you to Mayor-elect Luke Bronin for his service. And we want to thank you for your service in Afghanistan as a naval officer, so consider this a late Veterans Day thank you. But also, Luke served in the Obama administration as an Assistant Deputy Treasury Secretary, and most recently as General Counsel to Mayor Daniel Malloy. Similarly, we would like to extend a sincere thank you to Mayor Segarra for his service as mayor since 2010 in the city. And not only is Mayor Segarra a great representative of this great city, but he's an amazing historian in his own right. You can't spend 5 or 10 minutes with Mayor Segarra on something like the city's architecture and not come away with anything but being impressed and better educated. So with that, the man himself, Mayor Pedro Segarra.
Well, thank you and good morning. And for those of you who observed that my phone did go off, it only serves to verify some of the things that Mark Twain himself felt about the intrusive nature of phones in our lives. Boy, if he were around now to see iPhones and all the little gadgets that we walk around with. I want to thank everyone that's here. Cindy, I want to thank you for your leadership. When I met you several years ago, I knew that the Mark Twain House and Museum was destined for bigger and greater things, and I really do want to thank you for your leadership. And I want to thank C-SPAN for having selected Hartford. I know that you are all very busy in Washington, D.C. with all the great work that's happening in Washington, D.C., and it was very difficult for you to leave, but I think it's a good use of your time and your resources to have taken away and left that venue. This is a wonderful opportunity for our city to get some good national attention about all the resources, all the history, all the arts, everything that we have going on in the city of Hartford. One of the mayor's jobs is to be a cheerleader, to be a spokesperson, to be a promoter of their city, and that's been one of the most fun parts of my job. We definitely have so much history here. As we stand here in this great building honoring the legacy of America's greatest literary contributors, Mark Twain and Harriet Beecher Stowe next door, and other writers that have lived in our city, it gives us a wonderful opportunity to showcase them and share them, most especially with our youth. We need to make sure that our youth continue to embody a knowledge of their history so that we can continue to pass the baton to them in terms of preserving and understanding what these places and what these contributions really mean in terms of the formation of the United States. Our city was founded by Reverend Thomas Hooker, and he brought with him from the Boston colony a great deal of thinking about the role that human beings and the community should play in polity and in the formation of policies and the undertakings of government. Another reason that I like Mark Twain, great political satirist. So much of what he had to say about politics and politicians is still relevant today. You can see some of it written on the walls. But it also gives a tribute to the fact that we do live in a country where we can express ourselves and say anything and everything about political leaders and have the ability not to suffer a penalty of death, so to speak. So this city has been a great city also of manufacturing, cults and their legacy. We have incredible parks in the city to include cemeteries, Cedar Hill, and other places were just incredible. We have a wonderful arts community, including Hartford Stage, which has just been an incredible producer and promoter of the greatest and the best in theater. So Samuel Colt and Elizabeth Colt left us a wonderful legacy of manufacturing, but also left us what is soon to be a historic national park. And for that, we're thankful to that legacy. You know, I don't know which one of us is Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. I know that I came up here to Hartford as a runaway very early on, so I might be more suitable for one of the characters than the other. But I recall when I was a student in Capital Community College, which was then Greater Hartford Community College, right on Woodland Street, and I remember that every so often there would be a couple of hand-painted cardboard signs trying to alert folks driving out to West Hartford and into the city about tours happening at the Mark Twain House. And they would sit there and they would sell home-baked goods and tea and lemonade in order to raise funds. And I think that it is that sort of spirit that exists in our community that is able to take things and rescue them and catapult them to really enable them to convey the significance of our treasures in our city, the Wadsworth Athenaeum. What an incredible place. First public museum in the United States. Right here, Hartford High, second oldest high school in the nation. Right across the street, the Congregation in which Horace Bushnell was so much involved in, which really gave new definition to what philanthropy and social responsibility should really mean in a community. And to know that today we have a Bushnell Park and a Bushnell Performing Arts Center, there's just so much. So you couldn't have made a better choice to pick a city that's only 18 square miles, but its borders transcend not only this country, but transcend across the borders and across this nation, and has shared all these wonderful treasures with the world. So as we move forward, we have many things that are currently going on in our city. My successor, Luke Bronin, is very passionate, very energetic, very intelligent and capable man who will continue in the efforts of really bringing out the best and continuing to deal with the challenges. And there are challenges in a city such as Hartford. If we're not a challenging city, I don't think Mark Twain would have chosen to come here. I think I want to introduce and present to you my successor, and someone who is very capable to continuing in bringing out the best of our city. I really want to thank again C-SPAN for really bringing this to our city and showcasing our city. Thank you all so much. And Luke Bronin, Mayor-elect Luke Bronin.
Thank you, Mayor Segarra. And no matter what Mark Twain might have thought about politicians, I think it's a tribute to our political system that only 7 weeks from a primary we can figuratively join hands and look to the future of our city. And I do want to continue the legacy that you have left of supporting and promoting the arts and the history of Hartford, which you have done with passion and with enormous effectiveness. And I have a huge amount of respect for the work that you've done, especially in that arena. I can't thank C-SPAN and Comcast enough for your partnership. I know that you've set aside a good amount of time to be here, but you're really just scratching the surface. So you may have to come back around for a second round. It is stunning when you think about the size of the city of Hartford, as Mayor Segarra just said, the impact that this city has had on the intellectual life of the United States, on the history of the United States, the little lady that started the big war just next door. Wallace Stevens, one of the greatest modernist poets ever, whose walk every day to work is memorialized in plaques around our city. There are wonderful discoveries to be made in Hartford every single day about the ways in which this city has affected the world. The other thing that I think is so incredible about our city, Faulkner said the past is not dead, it's not even past. And you can feel that every day in Hartford. I live about 20 feet from the scion of the Charter Oak, which once housed the first Constitution, and walk past the Soldiers and Sailors Arch, walk past, almost every day the first public art museum in the United States. And what I think it teaches us to see all that is the power of all parts of a community coming together. The corporate community, the legacy that the Colts left us and so many of the other philanthropists, the power of sound urban planning and understanding how the design of a city and the physical appearance of a city can have an enormous impact on the life of a city. And the incredible institutions that those kinds of partnerships have left and have cultivated. It's our obligation as each generation that just passes through this great city to build on that legacy, to promote it further. And I'm thrilled that C-SPAN has taken the opportunity to highlight Hartford, and I hope that you'll come back again and again as we continue to grow and build on the legacy here. So thank you very, very much. Thanks again to Comcast, and thanks again to Mayor Segarra for your service.
Thank you again, Mayor and Mayor-elect, for being here today. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of the Mark Twain House and Museum, Cindy Lowell. And I just want to say, I've had a brief opportunity to chat with you, and boy, passion does make a difference in life. And you are so passionate about this Mark Twain House. So.
Thank you. I never dreamed that I would have so many microphones to talk about Mark Twain at one time. And those of you who know me know to be very, very scared. I just have to first say thank you so much to Comcast and to C-SPAN for recognizing Hartford in its greatness, and this is a true opportunity to share something wonderful that I think in many ways is sort of a best-kept secret. So we're just so thrilled that you're here, and we're thrilled to be hosting it, and we want to show off our best to you this afternoon. We're looking forward to that. You know, Mark Twain is so important to the American legacy, to American history, really globally. He continues to be a rock star. In his lifetime, he was the world's most famous person. He was the world's first celebrity. He was famous for being famous. People were imitating him even when he was alive. Today, his books continue to be published in more than 50 languages. And I challenge you, when you go abroad, visit a bookstore somewhere. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll find 3 or 4 of his titles in bookstores all around the world. But here we work very hard to preserve that legacy. Now, he did choose Hartford as the place to build a home and raise his family. And I want you to just think for a minute, this wasn't our white-haired Mark Twain that we all know and love, or our white-suited Mark Twain. This was a young papa with red hair, and he had a little two-year daughter and a newborn daughter when they moved into this home. So this is a very young man who came here to live, to raise his family, and of course then to write the literature that he is known for. If we weren't so fortunate, if the buildings had been taken down, his legacy would be well preserved, and he saw to that by writing what he wrote, by commentating in the way he did, and feeling that nothing was sacred. He could talk about anything. He became our greatest social critic, and if you have occasion to see Hal Holbrook performing as Mark Twain, you'll find that his words still resonate. Hal Holbrook's audiences are often confused, and they think that it's Hal Holbrook writing new lines because they're so relevant to today's world. And in fact, they're not. Mark Twain wrote those words more than 100 years ago, and he wrote about human nature. So the words are still relevant, and it's very, you know, just our great honor to be able to preserve that here. One thing that we have decided to do is to honor Mark Twain's legacy by launching an American Voice in Literature Award with one of our trustees, David Baldacci. And I think C-SPAN should come back and cover that in their book talks. The prize will be $25,000. Next year we'll be giving that prize to the very first recipient. We're very excited about that. So we look forward to finding someone who publishes this year and who has sort of captured the American voice in the way that Mark Twain did, if that's possible. But we believe that there's somebody out there. We welcome visitors to this house from all 50 states every year, dozens and dozens of countries. You will walk out here and hear many languages spoken during the day. Thousands of school children, educators. We're very proud to be open year-round and make it accessible. We do work with others in our community. We believe that we are stronger when we collaborate, certainly with our next-door neighbor, the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center, one of our strongest partnerships that we have. And we think we bring such a vibrancy to Hartford because of these strong partnerships. We have welcomed authors and performers from Stephen King to Dan Brown to, again, our board member David Baldacci, but many, many authors. We also, next year, in collaboration, we don't just collaborate locally here in Hartford, but we collaborate across the country with other Mark Twain sites. And in 2016, the U.S. Mint, in January, will release 2 Mark Twain coins. Made in his image, and this was a law that was passed in 2012 that we got to enjoy on C-SPAN, the live action of all that taking place. So we're very excited about the coin. The commemorative coins will benefit 4 Mark Twain sites, including this one here in Hartford, so we're thrilled about that. This house was, believe it or not, when you see the house you can't believe this would ever be possible, but it was to be taken down. Now, it's not been taken down. We're proud to say this big, massive, beautiful home stands and is open to everyone. But because of foresight of someone in the Hartford community, the house was purchased in 1929. It was refurbished through the 1960s. And in 1974, on the 100th anniversary of the house being built, it was open to the public. We've been open to the public all these years since. Of course, now we have our eye on the sesquicentennial, which is just a handful of years away. Hopefully C-SPAN will come back for that great celebration. I'm glad. I have to say, after our phone conversation the other day, I was afraid I might have scared C-SPAN off, but Mark Twain is the gift that just keeps giving. You know, he continues to publish. He died in 1910, yes, but his autobiography, which he suppressed for 100 years, has been published in 3 volumes. And I'm proud to say that we recently hosted the launch of Volume 3 with the editor from the Mark Twain Project in Berkeley, California. So he is alive and well. He is out there commenting still on everything that is important, and he does it with humor and grace, and we love him. We are proud that he is our boss. I can speak for my staff who are here when I say that he's a great boss to have. We love working and preserving his legacy, and we're just thrilled that so many people are here today joining us for this, and look forward to working with all of you much more in the future. Thank you again for being here.
What an exciting opportunity for the city, and we look forward to the finished product for sure. So I just want to thank you all for joining us today, and have a great day. Thanks.
Just real quick, both Mayor and Mayor-elect mentioned this, and I failed. It's right in my scribblings here. Sorry about that. But we are going to take a look at the Colts and look at the Colt firearm collection there at the State Library. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that as well. So thank you. Sorry. Not really ended. Thank you.